Let's move on to main topic number 2. And our second main topic today, by the way, somebody in this live chat section just said the new Ryan Reynolds streaming service. If you guys had to know the news, but that's pretty funny. Okay, let's now move on to main topic number 2, shall we? And our second main topic today gets submitted to us by Romana Al-Zeer. And Romana Al-Zeer writes, "Hey, John, giant fan since the movie blog days." Well, thank you so much, my friend. It's a lot of people have followed me since the Man of Steel review, but some people have been following since the movie blog days. Those are the old days, man. Thanks for being around, dude. I was wondering, with the Snyder Cut coming out next year on HBO Max as a miniseries, would it qualify for the Emmys? Thanks. And keep bringing on that filthy. All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yes, so the Emmys just happened. We didn't really cover it a lot in here because I don't have a lot of time for a lot of TV. I don't follow a lot of it. I did keep half an eye on it to see if maybe we would see Mandalorian take home Best Drama. It did not. That went to Succession. Excellent show. Schitt's Creek won like all the Emmys. The Schitt's Creek just won them all. It just won all the Emmys. They gave them all the awards. So that just happened. Now we've got the Snyder Cut. This is an interesting question. The Snyder Cut Justice League is coming out next year on HBO Max, sometime next year. Could be in the next 4 months, could still be a full year away. We don't know, whatever. It'll come out in the next cycle though. So the question is, depending on when it comes out, would it qualify for the Emmys? I think there's two very big questions we need to ask. First is, would it qualify for the Emmys? I think it would. Now, I reached out to somebody I knew this morning who I know is a voting member of the Emmys. And I'm not surprisingly, I wasn't able to hear back from them in time. I know a lot more people who are in the Academy than I do who are plugged into the Emmys, but I couldn't get an answer in time. But my guess would be that it would qualify. I think it would qualify under that new kind of category, limited series. I think it would qualify under limited series. Now, there may be a rule in there somewhere that kind of maybe would disqualify it simply because it was a feature film. But this is not just got a lot of new footage that wasn't in the other one. It's a completely different format, right? Even if it is essentially the same movie, which there's a lot more to it than the theatrical version was, but let's say for argument's sake, it is still essentially the same movie. It's in a completely new format. It's in an episodic 4-part limited series format. So my initial gut reaction is to guess that I think it would qualify. I think it would qualify. Again, if you guys, if any of you are voting members of the Emmys, or if you know somebody who is, or if you know for a fact that's not the case, that's fine. I'm just saying, I'm just taking a guess at it. But my guess is, considering how much new material is in it, compounded with the fact that it's going to be presented in a completely different format than what it was presented in theatrically, my guess would be it would qualify. The problem is, there's a second question you have to ask. In asking would it qualify, you have to then get around and asking the question, would it even be in the running? And this is the part that, you know, there's a lot of discussion. We've had these discussions around here before, and they're hard discussions to have, but they're ones you have to bring up. The reality is, it don't matter. It doesn't matter how much I yell and scream and stomp my feet and, you know, lament and tear my robes and sprinkle ashes on my head and raise my fist to the heavens and scream that people need to give Man of Steel its just due. Man of Steel, to me, directed by Zack Snyder, one of the greatest comic book movies of all time, easily the most underrated and underappreciated comic book films of all time. It is a masterpiece of the genre. I love this film. I like Batman versus Superman. I liked it very much, as a matter of fact. I even put out a video a long time ago called Defending the Martha Scene, because everybody makes fun of the Martha Scene, and I get why. But I put out a video a number of years ago. You guys should go look it up. Just search John Campea Defending the Martha Scene. I put out a video saying, I understand what they were going for in that Martha Scene, and it's actually something pretty smart. I get it. It came across weird. Why did you say? I get it. It came across weird, but I actually got what Zack Snyder was going for there. It's great. I like Justice League the way, but here's the reality. Everybody overlooks this one very inconvenient fact. It doesn't matter how much I yell and scream. It doesn't matter how much anybody else yells and screams. The reality, the facts are, half the people out there and half the critics out there hated Man of Steel. Like, I can't ever bring up Man of Steel without me getting half my inbox filled up. Man of Steel sucked. Okay, that's right. It's all subjective. It's all good. If you thought Man of Steel sucked, I got no problem with that. That's fine. That's movies. It hits us all in different ways. I get it. But the reality is, half the audience, half the critics hated Man of Steel. Then you get into Batman versus Superman. And I liked Batman versus Superman. I acknowledge it had some issues, but the reality is, and you guys can go back and watch my original review of it, but I thought it was really quite good because I really like this incarnation of Superman. And I love Ben Affleck. And Ben Affleck's turn as Batman, you guys know, is my favorite iteration of Batman, my favorite live action iteration of Batman of all time. But the reality is, half the audiences and half the critics hated it. So let's not even talk about Justice League, because even though Justice League was 80% of, according to Variety's report, Joss Whedon only really changed about 20% of the movie. Mustache Superman, anybody? But about 80% of it was still Zack Snyder's. The reality is this. The critics, the general movie-going public, all that kind of stuff, they've seen Zack Snyder's DCEU. They've seen it. They know what Zack Snyder's DCEU sensibilities are. They know what his take on the DCEU is. They know what his tone of the DCEU is. And while many of us appreciate what he has done, the fact of the matter is a hell of a lot of people simply don't think it's very good. And so as we get into the Emmys, I don't see any reason why any of us would hold out hope that the Justice League Snyder Cut, on what basis would any of us think, oh yeah, all those people who hated Man of Steel and all those people who hated Batman vs. Superman, suddenly magically overnight, they're suddenly going to fall in love with Zack Snyder's DCEU sensibilities and style. And all of a sudden, magically, they're all going to love what he does. It's possible, but I'm going to tell you a little bit of a secret. I personally hope they don't. And here's why. John, what the hell are you talking about? Here's why. And this is strictly for selfish reasons. Zack Snyder's DCEU sensibilities work for me. Give me more Man of Steel any day. Give me that all day, every day. Give me that same Batman you had in Batman versus Superman. I like Justice League. I do. I like the theatrical version of Justice League. But to me, the biggest weakness was the way Batman came across in Justice League was not the same Batman we got in Batman versus Superman. So give me more of that Batman. I personally like Zack Snyder's DCEU sensibilities. So I hope he doesn't change the way he is. I hope he doesn't change how he tells those stories to appeal to all the Emmy voters. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So I personally hope he just does what he does. Give me back that Batman that we've got out of Batman versus Superman. Give me that Henry Cavill Superman. Give me those sensibilities and I'll be happy. The Emmys won't be happy. Half the audiences won't be happy. Half the critics won't be happy because they already don't like Zack Snyder's DCEU sensibilities. And that's fine. So will it qualify? Yes, I think it'll qualify. Is there any realistic chance that it could do that? Not unless Zack Snyder completely changes the way he approaches the DCEU. The only way it's going to get actual Emmy consideration is if Zack Snyder completely changes his approach to the DCEU and completely changes his sensibilities, because his approach and his sensibilities have not worked with the general movie-going audience, have not worked with the critics, clearly has not worked with them. But stay the way you are. Let those of us who do like Man of Steel, let those of us who do like Justice League, let us just appreciate it. So, I don't know. That's just my take on that. Question is, guys, What do you think about that? Maybe you think, no, John, there's really good precedent and reasons to believe that people who didn't like his stuff before will like it now. Maybe you think there's a good argument for that. Jump down into the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys.